Hey everybody, David Guido here, founder and CEO, Chief Encouragement Officer at DRG Performance Solutions. And this week, we're talking about input, your sources of input. You ever watch the news or listen to the news on the radio going into work in the morning or coming home at the end of the day? And by the time you're done watching with all the crime reports and all of the bad things that people are doing and the Hollywood gossip and who's doing what to who, you feel angry, you feel bitter, you kind of all wound up. You ever been sitting in the office and somebody comes in the door and slams their stuff down on the desk and starts ranting about the thing they heard on the radio on the way in, about the crime that happened the night before, or what the politician said, or what this actor is doing to this actor, or that actress is doing to that actress, or whatever the case might be, right? You ever take a quick scroll, I was going to say walk, a quick scroll through Facebook and just all the anger and the bitterness that seems to be out there? What does that do to you? Is it uplifting? Is it positive? Or does it make you go, yeah, that's right, yeah, they're wrong, they're right, You ever have those moments? You watch a sitcom, right? And some sitcoms are great, not all, but how often do we watch a sitcom or something else on TV and we start to live through those characters? How many times have you heard somebody say, oh yeah, my situation was just like so-and-so actor in that show, or I'm so much like that character. And then some of those things that get made fun of and that are talked about negatively, we tend to adopt those. Because in sitcoms, a lot of times, the stupid people are made fun of. The lazy people, the overweight people, the slow people, the different people. And that kind of becomes part of our lexicon, part of our society. You ever feel that? You ever experience that, either yourself or through somebody else, at the water cooler, the day after a sitcom? If you've ever felt any of those things, the anger, the bitterness, the depression, the kind of like, I give up, this sucks. Based on everything I read and see and hear, we're done, right? Our society is done. We're going to hell in a handbasket, and probably today. If you've ever felt that way, I've been there. For the majority of my life, I watched hours and hours and hours and hours of television, and hundreds of thousands of hours probably, and I can't even count how many times I would watch the news or watch a sitcom or watch a reality television show and be scared about all the crime that was going to happen to me, or be scared about all the natural disasters that were about to happen to me, because that's the information I was fed. That was my source of input. And I was one of those people for a really long time that loved watching sitcoms, especially comedies. And some are safer than others, and some are more sedate or less mean or cruel than others. But I certainly watched my fair share where I started to live vicariously through some of the characters. Maybe you've been there. And I would make fun of people because of who they were based on what I'd seen in the television show, what I'd seen in the sitcom. And when the internet became huge and Facebook took off, first I was resistant. I don't know if you have been there yourself, but it took me a year to say, okay, I'll embrace this Facebook thing. And then all of a sudden, boom, I'm on it all the time, hour after hour after hour, and I'm watching post after post after post. And especially in the last 2 years, 2015, 2016 with the presidential election, so much anger and hatred and bitterness. And it almost seems as though it's more important for people to win the argument and to be right, as opposed to what is right and what the right issue is, or what the right answer to the issue is. And it leaves you, and it left me, angry, depressed, bitter. I threw up my hands. There were multiple times where I said, yeah, this does suck. But the reality is it doesn't suck. The reality is that I've learned that there's a lot of good out there. And I've learned that, in fact, there's a lot of ways to be happy, a lot of ways to be healthy, healthier, a lot of ways to be excited and motivated and inspired on a daily basis based on our sources of input. And so what I did was I learned that if I shut out some of the sources of input and changed some of the others, that I had that happiness, that energy, that desire, and I had that excitement. And I found that I was more positive. What I found was I became a negative person over the years because of the negative people I was surrounded by in large part. And instead of trying to lift them up, I was allowing them to pull me down, and I became negative. And so all of this input was creating all of this negativity in my head. And I found over the last couple of years that as I've changed my sources of input and eliminated some, that my happiness, my health, my energy, my desire, my productivity, my relationships, all better, all going to the next level, which is what we want to do in everything. We want to get to another level. We want to keep moving up further and further to the next level. So is that the case though for everybody? Well, I'm going to read for a minute a couple of statistics that I think you're going to find very interesting. According to the Global Web Index, in 2014, the average person spent 6 hours a day online, 1 3/4 hours a day on social networking sites alone. CNN reported in 2015 that teens spend an average of 9 hours a day on social media in ways to entertain themselves, not educationally, to entertain themselves. A 2015 study that was in the Huffington Post said people who hear 3 minutes of negative news in the morning, people who hear 3 minutes of negative news in the morning, check this out, reported a 27% greater chance of stating they have had a bad day 6 to 8 hours after they heard the news. 6 to 8 hours after they heard the news. 3 minutes of news, they reported having a bad day. 27% greater chance. Meanwhile, on the other side, people who hear 3 minutes of inspiring, transformative, exciting, uplifting news in the morning reported an 88% chance, or there was an 88% chance that they were going to have a good day 6 to 8 hours after they heard it. That's start of the day. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in just a few minutes. But that start of the day, that input, 3 minutes is all it took. In his book, The Daily Success Habits of Wealthy Individuals, Thomas Corley wrote that 88% of wealthy people read something inspirational, educational, that has to do with self-improvement, a minimum of 30 minutes every day. The percentage of people who are considered to be in poor or in poverty that read 30 minutes a day, the same type of material, educational, inspirational, is under 10%. Thomas Corley also found that 67% of wealthy people watch less than an hour of television a day. So when just 3 minutes of bad news can affect our day, or 3 minutes of good news can affect our day, and all of it can affect it so powerfully, and we have all of this time that we're spending watching the news, on social media, social networking, whatever the case might be, we need to control those sources, because so much of that input is negative. So many of the stories are negative. Negative sells, right? That's what everybody wants to hear. It's that train wreck thing. It's that car slowing down at an accident on the highway type of thing. But here's the reality. The reality is it's making us angry and bitter and depressed and less productive and less happy and less healthy. because we have this image of the way things are. And this is fascinating. Steven Pinker, in a 2011 article, wrote the following. Statistically, we are living in the least violent and least cruel and most peaceful era of all time. But how many people would believe that? How many people would know that just based on what the majority of our input is every day? So we have this image of how things are, and we have all this negative input coming from all different sources. And yet, this is the best time ever to be alive. So what do we do? What do we do about that? You know, what are the things we can do to change our sources of input so that our mentality, our mindset is a positive one, is an uplifting one, is an excited one, is a productive one? What can we do? 7 things, real quick, 7 steps, things that you can do immediately that will instantly change your mindset. Your input will therefore change your mindset, change your negativity, if you're living there, to positive, to a mindset of positivity. And the first is to watch the news, because you can't eliminate the news altogether. You know, you can't say, well, I'm never watching the news again, because you got to be informed. But you can control what you watch. And when something's coming on that's bad, you turn it off. When you're watching news about your career, about something to do with the industry you work in, about something to do with the stock market, if you're an investor or you're thinking of being an investor, if it's news about a hobby, if it's news about something that will suit you, that will elevate you, that will lift you up, that's inspiring, good news, that's the kind of news you want to be paying attention to. News that's going to move you from where you are to where you want to be, because it either serves what you want to do and who you are, where you want to go, or news because it's just positive, uplifting news. So you want to target what you watch and what you read in the news, and eliminate all of the bad news that dominates the headlines, but is a small percentage of what's actually happening in reality. So that's the first thing. Second thing is turn off your notifications. I still do this way too often. I have not turned off enough notifications. I still have notifications for Facebook and for Twitter and for, just too many. My phone continues to beep. And I've cut a lot out. I still need more, need to cut out more. But what happens when you turn off your notifications is you're not as prone to go there, to go to social media. Because once you see a notification, you get there, and that's when you start scrolling and spending far too long scrolling and looking at the negative stuff and looking at the positive stuff. And you want to cut out some of that social media time, or you want to direct it toward positive stories, positive input. You see something come up about what a horrible human being Donald Trump is, or what a horrible human being Hillary Clinton is, move on. Maybe they're horrible, maybe they're not. I don't know. But when you keep hearing it and seeing it all the time, what does that do to you? And what does it do to your mentality and your mood and your productivity and your excitement and your motivation and your energy and your desire? It does nothing good for any of those to constantly see stuff over and over again. So turn off the notifications and spend less time scrolling through all that negative social media. Third thing is read. Instead of being on Facebook for 2 hours, or instead of being on Twitter for 2 hours, or Instagram for 2 hours, read for a half hour, an hour of that time. And when we say read something positive, read something uplifting. Reading about serial killers, and reading, unless it's history and you're a history buff, reading about stuff that's gonna demotivate you and is gonna be negative. Reading novels about sex and drugs and about murder and people backstabbing one another, soap opera type of novels. That's not the kind of reading we're talking about. We're talking about the kind of reading that's going to teach you something. It's going to educate you, inspire you, lift you up. Or if it's a hobby, a book on the Civil War, if you're a Civil War buff or a history buff, great. But it should be interspersed, of course, with the educational, inspirational reading that you should be doing on an ongoing basis. Time away from social media, devote it toward reading. Fourth thing, start hanging with the right people. For the longest time, there were so many people I walked away from conversations and thought, I was happy before I started talking to them, and now everything seems to suck. And I know I was that person for a long time as well. And you want to hang around with the people that when you walk away from them, that you say, wow, that was cool. I wish I had more time for them. I feel great. Everything's great. Life is great. Well, that's a positive way to look at a situation that's really been weighing me down, because you're talking with the right people. So you want to hang around with the people that are going to lift you up, not the people that are going to bring you down. When you're in the office and the gossip starts, run away. Because gossip is never positive. And nobody ever walks away from a BS session where the company and the boss and the other employees in the other department are being trashed. Nobody walks away from that feeling great, going, this is a great day, this company's great, these people are great. Nobody does that at the end of one of those sessions. Everybody walks away miserable at some level. Hang with the right people. Hang with the people that are going to lift you up and be positive. They're going to recognize when things aren't great, but we're going to have a positive spin on it. Number 5, start your day right. Maybe this should have been number 1. Probably should have put it number 1. Number 5, start your day right. Get up every morning. And how do most people get up? Another day. The alarm clock. Well, if I love Zig, my hero, my mentor, Zig Ziglar, who always used to say that it's not an alarm clock, it's an opportunity clock. Because when it goes off, you got an opportunity staring you in the face, right? I love that. So when the opportunity clock goes off, what do most people do? Another day, I gotta sit in traffic, right? What would happen if you got up and the first thing you did was, I'm so grateful to be alive. I'm so thankful, because I could be dead. I could not be here. But I'm so grateful. I have so many things to be blessed about and thankful for. And this is going to be a great day. What would happen if you started your day that way? Try it. See what happens. Take 5 minutes and say, boy, not only is this a great day, not only do I have all these blessings, a roof over my head, or clothes, or a job, or whatever it is, whatever your blessings are, but also say, you know what? I've got all these great qualities that I've been blessed with. I'm kind, I'm hardworking, I'm generous, I'm so many really good things. And I've had all these great victories too, I've had all this success, and I've been a great parent, or a great boss, or a great employee, or a great friend, or a great brother, sister, aunt, uncle, whatever it is. Talk to yourself about all of your blessings, your qualities, your gifts, your talents, your victories. It takes 5 minutes. How many people do that to start their day? That's how you start your day. Start your day with positive interaction and your self-talk. Your source of input from yourself should start every day positive. Every day with great uplifting conversation with yourself about everything that's awesome. Because there's so much that is. Number 6 is Automobile University. Zig coined the phrase. I love it. And Automobile University is that ongoing thing that will always work for you. Go back to what we talked about at the beginning, and how many people get up, get in the car, hear something on the radio that's miserable, get to work, they're miserable, they make everybody else around them miserable, right? Been there? Automobile University just simply is you get in the car every day and you just start listening to uplifting stuff. Whether it's a book on CD, whether it's a tape, whether it's a radio program that's positive, inspiring, uplifting, whatever the case might be, it sets the mood for the day. Or it ends the day in a better way than music about sex and murder and drugs and violence and killing cops and killing people and all of this other stuff that makes us grumpy and cranky. Automobile University is a great way to set the tone. Or if you've been having a bad day and things around you, maybe you've had to interact with people where the input's not great. You get in the car for an hour at lunch. You get in the car to go from one stop to another. Automobile University, something inspiring, something exciting, something that lifts you up. Bang, you're right back in the game. And last but not least, more than Not so much an ongoing thing. In fact, not an ongoing thing at all. One day a month, shut yourself off completely from the news and from the media. One day a month. One day a month. Can you do that? Maybe that day you just read. Maybe that day you just do something with your family. Maybe that day you meditate and just get into your own mind about all the wonderful, awesome things that have happened, that you have to look forward to, the blessings of your life. Maybe you just meditate on that. Maybe you go work at a shelter and you volunteer. You know, you feed the homeless, or you work at a church event, or you go around and you hand out cleaning supplies or hygiene supplies to the homeless. I don't know what you would do for the whole day. Take one day a month, completely disconnect, surround yourself with positive, uplifting people, have positive, uplifting conversation, read, get out and volunteer, get out and explore the world, meditate. One day a month. One day a month. You owe that to yourself. So those are the 7 things. So to recap again, the first is to watch the news, because you have to be aware of what's going on, but tailor what you watch and what you read to the things that are of interest to you or that can serve you and that will uplift you. Number 2 is to turn off the notifications and not be bombarded so much with the social media interaction. Number 3 is to read more. And in conjunction with turning off the notifications and reading more, less time on social media, less time on Facebook, less time on Twitter, less time on Instagram. They're all great, wonderful platforms. Less time on them, and scroll through and don't get caught up in the negative, angry, bitter, jaded people. Because if you do, you'll become one of them. But read more, that's number 3. And read things that are inspirational, positive, uplifting, that will serve you in a positive way, that will teach you. Number 4, hang with the right people. Hang with those people that are going to lift you up, not drag you down. Get away from the office gossip, because it's never positive. It's always negative. It always leaves everybody worse off than before the gossip started. Hang around with people that when the conversation's over, you're better off for it. And you've made them better off for it. Number 5, start your day right, positive, get up, I'm thankful, I'm alive, I'm grateful, this is going to be a great day because I have all these gifts, I have all these qualities, I have all these blessings, I'm so excited for the day. That's how we want to start our day. Talk about your qualities to yourself, talk about your victories, talk about what a great day it's going to be, start your day off right. Then Automobile University. Whenever you're in the car, but especially in the morning and in the afternoon, set that tone for your workday, set that tone for your night at home. Listen to stuff that's inspirational, listen to stuff that's uplifting, radio programs, whatever it is, books on tape. Listen to educational, inspirational stuff, not crime reports on the radio, not news reports about everything that's bad, about the Hollywood gossip, about who did what to who, don't listen to the songs that are about killing people and raping people and murder and sex and drugs and all that kind of stuff. That never takes you to the next level. Never. It never does. And then last but not least, one day a month. Take that one day, go out there and do stuff. That has nothing to do with social media. That has absolutely nothing to do with the internet, with the news or anything. Volunteer, go for a walk, hang around with positive people, spend time with your family, take a picnic, whatever it is. So I hope that serves you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I do hope it served you. Please share it with anybody that you feel could use this. Maybe there's people you know that are bombarded with negative sources of input and it's dragged them down, and something like this might pop them back up and start them on the journey to a new level, to a better level. So share this with anybody you feel could use it. Comment, ask questions, like, share the whole thing. I am truly grateful for your time, for watching, for listening. Again, I hope it serves you. And until the next time, go out there every single solitary day. Discover something new. Reach for your stars, not just any stars, your stars. And go for it every day. That way you will have the so good life.